take a ride with me. I want to talk about my truth. How some people believe that their truth is just the same as my truth in value, both being equally true. I assert that that claim is untrue, and I'd like to explain why. The very same kind of person that claims that their truth is the same as anyone else's truth does so because we are all flawed observers of objective reality. That because my perspective will never be 100% correct and neither will theirs, that means that they are equally valid because they are both perspectives from an equally valued human being. Therefore, my truth can differ from their truth and both be valid. But that same person would go to a 7-Eleven expecting to find a extra large cup to fill with a combination of carbonated stuff and syrup and water, a little bit of ice. They would also expect to be able to take it to the counter and exchange the same money that they used the previous day to buy other things to the person that they expect to find behind the counter to purchase this stuff. And when they put the straw up to their lips, they will suck down a familiar tasting Diet Coke similar to the Diet Coke from previous days. This would be available to anyone, regardless of whether it's being observed by this person or that person. It is always there, and that person who believes everyone's perspectives are valid relies upon observable facts like this and their internalization of it to conduct themselves accurately. Why is it a bad thing to dogmatically adhere to your own truth? Well, it's because if your truth is untrue, you sow the seeds of a reckoning. The truth has a way of asserting itself through correction. Depending on what that truth is, it can have some pretty severe consequences. Like, for example, if you believe that you don't need to pay for that soda and you walk out for it, some person wearing a uniform will come and lock you up or fine you or something like that. If you touch a hot stove, well, you are going to get burned. If you fashion yourself some wings made of wax and feathers and jump off a high place, you may not survive. Everything, all truths, are on this spectrum of, well, how obvious it is and how severe the consequences for ignoring that truth is. So, for you individually, if you believe something that's untrue, and then eventually the reckoning comes, it might not be such a severe reckoning to where you can't tune it out. You can be resistant to correction. You can plug your ears, close your eyes, or even just grin and bear the pain and ignore the real truth and hold fast to your own. But there is reckonings that are too painful to ignore, and you will change your ways because the consequences are too severe. But many of the things that people adhere to that are untrue, that they call their truth, are such things that the consequences are insignificant to them. Or, worse yet, and a much more important reason to believe in objective truth, is that you don't always pay the consequences for believing lies or untruths, I should say, you don't always pay for the consequences yourself. Example, let's say that there is a father, and the father works a lot, and he makes the money, and his daughter gets the money. She finds his credit card, and she just goes on a spending spree. From her perspective, the money doesn't really cost her anything. It comes from daddy. All she's got to do is get the means to purchase the things, and then buy the things, and then either lessen the consequences of that to the point where she can be okay with it, or beg and plead to justify the purchases for her father and all that good stuff. She doesn't feel the pain so much as her father, who now has to work more or longer or wait longer or stop purchasing other things that he might deem more important or that gratify himself, because his daughter doesn't know the truth of, or doesn't care about the truth of what the true value of that money and how it came to be in her father's possession. You can believe lies, you can believe untruths, so long as you can do so comfortably, so long as you are insulated from their consequences, as long as you're protected from the reckonings. This, I would argue, is immoral, because you are imposing upon other people, other sovereign individuals, with your own foolishness. You cause harm to others. This applies to political beliefs and religious beliefs as well. If you believe in things that are untrue and cause harm, but not to you, well, you've harmed other people directly or indirectly, and sometimes directly, through your foolishness. There's another layer beyond this, another argument which is perhaps weaker to those that are atheistic leaning, which is that if you look at it on a meta level, the truth is external to yourself. We've established this, and it is corrective. You cannot just believe what you want, and there are no consequences. But because the truth is external to yourself, that means it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to something else. It was put into motion by something else. We didn't have to be born into a reality with cause and effect, where I put this thing here and it is there the next day, where 1 + 1 = 2, where I can go to sleep and wake up the next morning feeling the same continuity from the day before. This didn't have to be. Something made it this way. Now, if you're atheist, then that is a random series of events that culminated in our luckily being here. And to that force, you can determine what degree of fealty you really feel. But if you believe that there was a creator that set things in motion as they are now, that wrote the laws of physics, the laws of logic and mathematics, well, you owe to that thing the appreciation of this cause and effect, and to claim ownership over it by claiming your own truth is denying the truth that was created by that being. What arrogance. What hubris. Would you say that that is wise, to deny the truth? I'm not so sure. So, believe your truth, I guess, but I would suggest that you try to make it adhere to what is true, provably true, as closely as possible.